What is up, everybody? So we are back for our second week of New York story time. Like I said last week, I wanted to kind of bring light to New York and talk about positive, things that I've gone through while being in New York. With everything that's happening over there right now, I just want to make things a little bit happier. So today is the 18th, it's March 18th, which actually was the 3-year anniversary of Chris Cornell's passing. Not a good memory, it was a very, very sad day, but the story today is about me actually getting the opportunity to meet him while on my first trip in New York City. So the story goes like this, basically. Backstory. New York City, 2014. So in 2014, I was about 18 years old, and I decided that I finally wanted to take my first trip ever on a plane. So I had gone on planes before between the ages of like 1 and 4, but as a adult, conscious kind of person, I had not been on a plane, so I was super paranoid. So my aunt was like, yo, like, where do you want to go? And I was like, we should go to New York City. That is my dream. So we decided to go, and we went to New York City, and I went with, it was me, my good friend, her parents, and then my aunt, and we had a fantastic time. But while in New York City, I heard from so many different people, like, oh, wear comfortable shoes, be comfortable, you're gonna walk a lot, I was like, all right, cool, like, all right, we're gonna walk a lot, whatever. First day, I dressed kind of cute, and then I think it was the second day that I was there, I realized, like, I am so tired already, so I'm gonna wear just a t-shirt and some Nike shorts. And it was definitely well-deserved. I wore the Nike shirt, pink shirt, and some sneakers, and I was just kind of going here, there, going everywhere, basically, that day. So we left early, got some lunch, and once we got lunch, we went to, like, TGI Fridays, I believe, and I love chocolate. I'm obsessed with chocolate. I've always been obsessed with chocolate. And I decided, you know what? I don't even want food. I just want a slice of chocolate cake. And it was this like molten lava chocolate express, whatever. I ate this chocolate cake, and like a child, because I apparently am, I get chocolate all over my pink shirt. Like all over it. And it was like, man, this is dumb. But I was like, whatever, after we eat, where are we going? We're going straight home or back to the hotel. We could change, and then we'll go have dinner and have a nice rest of our day. So me and my friend are walking, and I remember my aunt being up ahead in front of us, and then I think her parents were even further up front. And, we're just walking, talking, on our way to the hotel. And I see this guy and his kid and this dog walking, and it was a pug. And I remember looking over at my friend and being like, girl, I hate pugs. I really hate pugs. And she was like, why do you hate pugs? I was like, dude, pugs, I hear that if you have them on a leash, if you pull too hard, their eyeballs pop out. I was like, I could not do that. I could not have a dog and their eyeball pop out. I don't know what the hell I would do if that happened. That'd be so freaking disgusting. And so we're having this conversation, the guy's walking, and I look over at my friend kind of jokingly, and I was like, girl, he looks like Chris Cornell. And she goes, nah, no way. And I was like, nah, girl, that looks like Chris Cornell. So me being gutsy, we're just walking, and the guy's about to cross the street, and I go, hey, Chris, and he turns around, and he's just like, and I was like, oh my God, this guy what the? I go, are you Chris Cornell? And he goes, I freaked out like a child. This was my first celebrity experience ever. And I'm telling you, it was like, it was something else. So we ended up getting to chatting it up, and I was like, oh my God, can I take a picture of you? I loved you since I was like 9 years old. And he goes, what was that, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago? And I was like, oh my God, this man thinks I'm 13. This guy thinks I'm 13 years old. I like was so upset about that for like a solid like hour after we met him, but of course he's just kidding. And honestly, to his defense, I look like a child. I had freaking chocolate stains all over my damn shirt. It was not good, not good. So I start crying. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm crying, but not really, but I'm like hyperventilating at the same time. My aunt comes out of nowhere like,
oh my God, hey, who's this? Oh, the Chris, what?
And my friend is like obsessed as well because her boyfriend freaking loved Chris Cornell as well, which unfortunately, I'm sorry, Nick, that you weren't there. But you got to see him in concert, Nick, like we never did. But man, like that was my first celebrity ever experience in New York City. Second day that I was in New York in a foreign city to myself. And I just remember like, this trip can't get any better. We snapped a few pictures that I'll add over here. And we just were freaking like crying in shock. I sent it to my dad. Like it was a big thing. It was a big ordeal. And that was really the start of like me realizing how I have to act in front of celebrities. And I think now as I've seen more being in California especially, I know like, take a deep breath. They're just a person. They're just a person. You don't need to freak out. But Chris Cornell was something, man. And I mean, that's a whole different story in itself. But you know, for me, Chris Cornell just meant so much. He was just, I remember my dad brought him up. He had Audioslave CDs, he had Soundgarden CDs, he had just Chris Cornell regular CDs, and like that was like our bonding experience growing up was Chris Cornell. And I picked up the guitar at the age of 9 years old, and the first song I learned was Like a Stone, which I know like guitar is Tom Morello, but to me I didn't see the bandmates, as messed up as it was. As a 9-year-old, I saw Chris Cornell and I heard the voice and it spoke to me, and I was like, I need to learn guitar so I can like sing along and like play these songs. And so I learned Like a Stone, and my poor guitar teacher, Travis, like every week I'd come in, I'd be like, hey, can you teach me this Audioslave song? Can you teach me this Audioslave song? Can you teach me this Chris Cornell song? Can you teach me this Soundgarden song? He was probably like, dude, kid, learn a different band. But it's okay. It's cool. Travis, I still love you. You were great. I appreciate you sticking it out with me. But Chris Cornell was just something else for me. So seeing him, meeting him, holding him to take a picture was just something so monumental for me. And, you know, hearing of his passing just freaking messed me up because I was in Seattle in the time that he did pass. And I just remember waking up to texts and seeing the news, and I was so messed up. And I just, you know, rest in peace to him. You know, I think about his family often. You know, his wife was Greek, I'm Greek, and I'm just like, look, like, I can sympathize with the family. It's just not a good situation, and it just makes me so sad, and it breaks my heart seeing her posts every now and then, and I'm just like, ugh, can we be friends? You know, like Greek families come together. But I know that's corny, that's dumb, like what the heck. Anyways, I'm just saying I'm so happy to have had that experience. I definitely have deep regrets in never seeing him in concert, but I'm grateful for the opportunity that New York provided me on my first trip, which was seeing him, meeting him, getting a picture with him, and just, I look back on it, you know, every so often, and I'm just like, wow, like, I'm so grateful for that moment, and I'm so grateful for New York for just bringing that moment to me. But yeah, that's my New York story of meeting Chris Cornell in the streets. It was something else. It was very, very moving. And today, seeing the news of it being, you know, the 3-year anniversary of his passing, it's not good. It makes me very upset. But I'm glad to have his music. I'm glad to have so many memories with him, like through his music and through meeting him and all of that. And I just, rest in peace, Chris Cornell. Thank you for everything that you, why are my eyes watering? Thank you for just everything. I'm a cornball. We'll be back next week with another New York City memory that is not as saddening as this one. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys, and we'll be back probably on Saturday with something new for you guys. See y'all.